The first question says, Acharya ji, Pranam. Ramana Maharshi says, there is the substratum of the mind which continues all along, giving rise to so many scenes. And I rises forth with every thought, and with its disappearance, that I disappears too. Many I's are born and die every moment. The subsisting mind is the real trouble. Acharya ji, can you please explain this statement from Sri Ramana Maharshi? What is this subsisting mind? Is this I itself the mind, or is it different from the mind? And how to get rid of this I? As at one place, Maharishi says, the I should be destroyed. Self is not to be reached, as the self always exists. There is the center of the person. That center from where the person has sprung forth. And then there are the continuously changing faces and moods and identities of the personality. At every moment, I finds a different and separate subject to be busy with. The tendency of the I to remain busy with some subject, however, does not change. Often we take a particular subject or a particular I identity as the problem. And with some effort, using some method, that subject can be removed, that identity can be crossed over, and the remaining one feels as if it is an accomplishment. For example, you may feel troubled due to a particular thing or place or person. But no thing, no place, no person remains forever. Either in due course of time or due to some effort or trick of yours, that thing, place, person, object can be removed. And then one may comfort oneself into feeling that the trouble is over. Similarly, one may feel that the trouble is due to one particular aspect of one's personality. One may say, my trouble is that I am hot-headed. And with some method, some clever technique, the expression of hot-headedness can be gotten rid of. Again, one may comfort oneself into feeling that the trouble is over. Ramana Maharshi is suggesting otherwise. He's saying that it is not a passing phase, a particular place, a particular event, or a particular person who is at the root of one's troubles. At the root of one's troubles is the root itself. At the root of one's troubles is the root of oneself. Remove the external situation. One will find or create some other situation to remain troubled. Address one troublesome part of one's personality, and trouble will burst forth in some other area of one's life. This is what the Maharshi is calling as the subsisting mind. He says that an I arises with every thought, and with the disappearance of the thought, that particular I too disappears. Many I's are born and die every moment. The subsisting mind is the real trouble. Subsisting mind means the mind that remains, the thing that residually continues. That thing that residually continues even as the various I identities come and go, even as the various external situations rise and fall, has been called by the Maharshi often as the aham vritti. The tendency itself to have I. These two must be seen together as well as separately. On one hand, the tendency to I, the tendency towards I-ness, gives rise to the various expressions of I, the various thoughts with I at the center, the various actions and emotions with I at the center, and therefore the tendency and the various I's are linked in a very parental way. On the other hand, getting rid of a particular I aspect, or getting rid of a particular I thought, or getting rid of a particular troubling situation is not at all the same as getting rid of the I tendency itself. Therefore, superficial measures do not work. But when one is rooted in the superficial I, all that one can conceive is superficial measures. So one wants to then address a part of his personality. One does not want to address the root of personness itself. One then wants to address a particular portion of one's life. One does not want to address the root of life itself. Root is not superficial, you see. Staying on the center of superficiality, you cannot even hope to know the root. Maharishi is cautioning us. He is saying that the treatments that you are prescribing to yourself come from the same place from where your disease comes. In fact, you could say that the disease is to prescribe treatments to oneself. That is the name and the description of the disease. What is the disease? The disease is that the patient thinks himself to be the doctor. In other words, the ego I thinks of himself as the true I. Patient thinks of himself as the doctor is the same, analogous, as the ego I taking itself to be the true I. But that's what the ego I is configured to do, take itself as true. It creates a closed system within which to hide. It creates a boundary of security around itself. It starts living in a room of mirrors, which is also an echo chamber. All it sees is itself. All it hears is its own voice. It insulates itself in that closed system from anything outside of itself. Well done. Pretty clever. Just that it cannot avoid the result of what it is doing. And the result is suffering. So the only way it can come out of its echo chamber is by the way of suffering. Otherwise, it will continue giving itself false treatments and enjoy brief episodes of false peace. There is nobody who actually likes to suffer. Yet suffering continues. Why? Suffering continues because without understanding suffering, we rush to treat it. There is nobody who does not have an instinctive reaction to suffering. If you suffer, you will react. If you suffer, you will want to quickly do something about it. Because suffering is suffering. It is a dislikable state of being. You don't enjoy it. So you do something about it. It's just that mostly what we offer to suffering is a knee-jerk reaction. With very little depth, very little meditativeness, very little understanding. You know, I was in Corbett Park recently. So it so happened, it's a bit incredible, but it did happen just a few weeks back. That Deveshji and I were having an easy stroll in the evening, and a tiger just a few meters ahead of us happily, lazily crossed the road, the main road. It didn't rush, it didn't run, it didn't leap. It crossed just as any human being does. In an easy way, like any other pedestrian. So, it was quite spectacular because it was so very unnoticeable. It's almost as if a cat or a dog had crossed the road. So we saw the whole thing happening, and we just saw. There was hardly any time to react. And the actions of the big cat didn't even warrant any reaction. It was silent. It just wanted to cross the road. It crossed. That's all. So it was a pretty ordinary event compared to the kind of frenzy such events usually generate. We came back and we had a session. And the next day, we were again having a walk. And when we were close to that point where the tiger had appeared the previous evening, a group of people very excitedly came running towards us. No, don't stand there. I said, what? You know what? We have heard yesterday a tiger was seen at that point. Yes, yesterday a tiger was seen at that point. You have just heard of that tiger. We saw that tiger at this very place. But that was yesterday. No, at this very point the tiger was there. Don't stand here. You know. That's the kind of enemy we want to fight. That's the kind of fears we cultivate. Because something has to be done. You know, there is something wrong with the world and it needs to be corrected. Of course, my world, my personal universe, at the center of which I sit, there is something wrong with it. So something has to be done. What has to be done? A non-existent tiger has to be fought. Fight it. because it was here yesterday. These people who came rushing to us had no understanding that what they were displaying could be easily called as fear psychosis. They would say they are excited or animated because of the tiger. No, it is something else that is pushing them into a mad excitement. It is within them. Had it not been about the tiger, it would have been about something else. We need to feel excited. We need to feel afraid. Fear is a kind of excitement, isn't it? We need to feel besieged. We need to feel threatened. If you feel threatened, then you will figure out something that is threatening you, because that's what logic demands, no? And we are logical people. We say, if I am feeling threatened, surely there must be somebody who is threatening me. Who's that? Oh, he's that. Eliminate him. Eliminate him. And then I'll feel comfortable and secure. The thing is, you keep eliminating the entire world, you would still not feel comfortable and secure. Because it is not the other that you have a grudge against. You are not all right with yourself. You resent yourself. You don't like yourself. So a project that should have been very, very inward looking becomes utterly misdirected and starts pointing outwards. The people who were coming to caution me against the tiger, they were actually cautioning themselves against themselves. But they will not understand what I'm saying right now. They are not really so magnanimous or charitable that they would want to help utter strangers. So it is not me that they were trying to caution. They were cautioning themselves. And it was not the tiger they were cautioning against. They were cautioning against something present within themselves. It was totally an internal game, which because of internal ignorance was being expressed on an external podium. An internal script being played out on an external podium, external stage. Are you getting it? The script is totally internal. The script may have many characters, but they are all internal. It's just that it is being expressed on a stage that is external. The external stage is called the world. Are you getting it? Maharishi is saying, go right to the root of your disease. Ignore all that in the world which appears to you as the reason of your problems. The world has no objective existence at all. It is not the world, it is your world. And because you are internally troubled, therefore you create a troubled world for yourself. heal yourself, you will find that your world has been healed, your enemies have disappeared. Better still, your enemies have transformed into very likable friends. But when you are unhappy with yourself, you remain unhappy with a lot of other people and other things and other systems. And there is just a lot of unlikable stuff everywhere. You dislike everything. You become a professional disliker. Who are you? I'm a person. What do you do? Crib. That's my life in 4 characters. CRIB. What do you crib about? Does that matter? Next time you ask such a question, I'll be cribbing about you. Subsisting mind. Subsisting, that which remains to create more trouble for you. It subsists. The trouble that will not go away. Ramana Maharishi is addressing that. Most of our troubles are not very powerful or permanent. We are able to defeat them, overpower them. And that keeps us in perpetual hope that all troubles can be overcome. When you keep hoping that all troubles can be overcome, then you are actually licensing yourself to create more troubles to be overcome. There are not many troubles. There is just one trouble. Look at the mother trouble. But you will have space to look at the mother trouble only if you restrain yourself a bit from savoring the baby troubles, the superficial troubles too much. We relish the baby troubles so much that we are left with no space to address the mother trouble. We might be professional dislikers, but we utterly like to dislike. We love the baby troubles because they keep life purposeful and challenging. No, one needs something to do in life, and one needs a challenge of one's own size, and one is a perpetual baby, never grown up. So what kind of challenges then one designs for himself? Baby challenges. I am a baby and I design baby challenges for myself. Sometimes I win, and sometimes there too I lose. But at least I can console myself that my problems are not insurmountable. Next time you feel troubled, caution yourself, your diagnosis is misplaced. Trouble is certainly there, but what you are perceiving as the reason of the trouble, the object of trouble, is actually just a proxy object. It is a decoy. It is a method used by the real troublemaker to make you look elsewhere, even as the real troublemaker goes through all his mischief unnoticed, uninterrupted, unfought. Are you getting it? It is wonderful to address challenges, but it is absolutely stupid to be fighting fake, false, and meaningless challenges. Are you getting it? We know of the gallant knights who would fight the windmills, right? They were so fond of fighting. They thought of themselves as knights in shining armors from the Middle Ages who are out to save mankind. You have heard of Don Quixote, right? So Don Quixote has been totally consumed by the idea that the world is an evil place and he must fight all the wrongdoers. So he sees there are windmills. And the windmills have blades, right? And the blades are rotating. And this bugger convinces himself that these are satanic soldiers wielding swords. So he pulls out his own sword and starts fighting the windmills. And then that happens which has to happen. With great difficulty, his life is saved. On another occasion, they find a woman, Don Quixote and his happy assistant. Don Quixote rides a horse, the other bugger rides a donkey. On another occasion, they spot a woman. And the woman is happily going along with a few of her assistants, probably being carried in a palanquin or something. And now these two convince each other that this woman is a most beautiful princess of a faraway state, probably an island state, who has been kidnapped and brought here by these 8-10 evildoers. It's a glorious opportunity, exactly of the kind they are desperately looking for. After all, they are knights. They must save the world. If you want to save the world, you must find trouble somewhere. So again, the two of them plus the horse plus the donkey go and ram straight into this party. And needless to say, they are beaten up badly by the 8 or 10 people who are carrying the woman. To add insult to injury, the woman too pulls out her sandals and knocks the bravado out of these two. And now these two are totally devastated. Oh, even the princess turned hostile. And such things keep happening to them. It's a classic. Don Quixote. Once you convince yourself of something, things start happening in that way around you. Not really, not objectively, but in your own personal universe. And there is then no way to convince you that you are just daydreaming, that you are in an illusion. Then the only thing that can convince you is your suffering. If you are suffering, rest assured, your worldview is misplaced. If you are suffering, rest assured, those you think of as your friends are not your friends. Those you think of as enemies are not your enemies. Had your universe been correctly placed, had your concepts been founded on the truth, why would you have suffered so much? Your suffering itself is the final proof that your entire mental structure is bonkers. Are you getting it? No other proof is needed, and actually no other argument would work. You cannot convince Don Quixote that the windmills are not demonic fighters. Are you getting it? See how you are living. If you do not find peace in your life, if you do not find depth and gravity and understanding in your life, then ruthlessly question yourself. Your assumptions are all misplaced. Your central idea about yourself is erroneous. Don't be in a hurry to change something outside of yourself. Don't be in a hurry to move from one place to other or one person to other. Don't be in a hurry to change your clothes. There is something far deeper that requires change. Don't let the situation go waste. Your suffering has come to you for a reason. It has come to you so that you may read it and benefit from it. Don't offer it a false and superficial response. Won't help.